I am tracker Gina Marie Rangel Quinones, field reporter, journalist.
I'm Robert Lundahl, filmmaker and storyteller. I stand up for human rights and the environment.
Good to be here. Welcome to Creative Frontline.
Welcome to Creative Frontline.
Stand up, stand strong, stand in. We are Creative Frontline.
The BIA made a white man out of me.
Matthew Levis Sr.
Sent me to boarding school, you see. And it's true. When I was game warden for the tribe, I remember stopping a fellow down here at the resort and checking for his license. And to me, he was a white man. He was a retired Los Angeles County sheriff. And to me, he was a white man, slim, stood about 6'2". But I remember him saying, well, if I was Indian, do I get any, you give me a cut? I said, what do you mean? And he pulled out his card. He was a Cherokee, registered Cherokee. But yet he wouldn't come out to all his friends and say, I'm a Cherokee, because he was in his comfort zone. And that's happened all the way across our country. And that's what colonization and westernization did to our people and took them away, not wanting to make them not want to go back. And a lot of people got too ashamed to want to go back and learn. So they just melt into the melting pot. And that's the irony of Indian boarding schools. The consequence of that, a song like this, cut my hair, took my shoes. First thing they did is convert me by taking my shoe, by putting shoes on me and making my big toes come in. And now I have bunions, by wearing pointed shoes. That's the first thing they did. Man, I remember joking about this, and I said, I don't have a foot fetish, but I happen to look at people's feet, notice people's feet, and Indian people's feet, to see what they look like, and if their toes are straight or are they bent in like this, If they're bent in, they're colonized, they're westernized, they already changed them by just changing their feet. Now I look at my feet and I have bunions in both feet. And it's caused from pointed shoes, gangster shoes, you call them. But that cutting hair and all this other stuff that they made us do reminds me of a story, and this is a true story I'm sharing with the public. And I shared this with the Sherman alumni group at during the interview, because I can recall at Sherman when the dormitory staff put a young Navajo boy in my room. And he was straight off the reservation. And when I mean straight off the reservation, I mean straight off the Navajo reservation, living out 40 miles in the desert in a hole gone, no running water, broken English. And here I am, senior, getting ready to graduate, athlete, whatnot, jock, muscular and everything. And they put this guy in my room, and after a while I noticed this guy's not taking a shower. And one day, say, take a shower, man. You can take a bath. And he just gave me a look and didn't say nothing because he's quiet. Just gave me a look, and let's go ahead and see what you got. He had a nice big foot locker, and open up his foot locker, all new clothes, still folded, everything. Everything was brand new. But you got to think about our people and him and his culture, where they came from. In Chimwavi's lifestyle, a Chimwavi man may have maybe one or two good pair of pants. Levi's at that. One good pair of boots. Wouldn't have tennis shoes, no sneakers, rubber shoe. He's got one pair of boots. Maybe two shirts. Maybe one or two pants. And that's it. You go and bathe in the river, go and bathe in the canal, bathe at home. But take care of yourself, your hygiene. But being out in the remote area on the sand, they do what they do. They take care of themselves what they do, and it's nothing to them. But yet to come to Riverside, California, at a BIA boarding school with all the amenities available to you, you wouldn't use them. And I got angry with him, and I drug him to the shower with those clothes. And they say, no, everybody in the hall started coming, following and laughing, boy, you're taking care of your son. And I was ashamed, embarrassed. I was pissed more than anything that, having to tell this guy how to take a bath. Think about this, 1971. But it did happen. And, after that, we started watching each other take care of each other and everything, helping him out as much as I could, but helping him try to advance and speak and talk with us and everything. And we became friends and whatnot, but it wasn't a really good close friendship, like that. But we communicated, and he was quiet, and he had broken language, the Navajo language that he didn't speak very well. But we were able to communicate, and he understood what I was trying to get across to him. You got to change, you're here, you got to change. Can't be the way you are, you got to change. And he did. But I just want to share that with you about our culture and, the time frame, 1971, and this individual not wanting to do the things that we all take for granted because of where he came from. And, that was a sad thing back in the day because there wasn't only Navajo that had really broken language, the whole piece. And then some of the Pimas, Papagos did also. And because I had the ability to speak English pretty clearly, everybody thought I was pretty smart. I really wasn't, but I could communicate, and so that helped me out a lot as far as education goes. And I didn't really like things there at the school when I first got there. When I looked at the academics, and I never really took academics seriously going to school. But what I seen there, I was upset about because what they were doing is teaching remedial education, and I felt really bad for all the Indian students who had been going through this in the 60s. What type of education were they giving them? Well, that was one of the driving forces uh, behind my efforts to help change the school and improve the school. And in 1971, the senior class took part in 70 and 71 um, to help get the school accredited. And we did. We were successful, and Sherman Institute became Sherman Indian High School, an accredited high school in the state of California, thanks to our efforts, the senior class of 1971. So that's what I'm proud about, bringing it to Sherman and changing the academics and bringing it up to the same level as any other high school across the state. So you're welcome.
Well, I was thinking of a photograph that I saw, and we put into the film that I made, Who Are My People? And it was a classroom. And it was a girls' classroom. But in this classroom, there were probably 25 ironing boards and about 25 women standing up there with irons.
Right.
So they were learning to iron people's clothes and learning how to be housekeepers.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
in the boys' classroom, there was like a brick wall, and the boys were taught to take the bricks, apply the mortar, put them in the wall. It was also kind of a manipulation to say that your place in the world is over here. You know, you're the one with the iron.
Exactly.
And it took a long time, you know. I mean, it's really your generation. It's the 70s kids that, you know, things kind of broke open a little bit.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, the 70s generation was the movers and shakers back in the day, and changing the dynamics of the school, you know. And even when we got into the CIF, California Interscholastic Federation, and um, and moved from one league to another, you know, we Sherman was never like baby, never had the ability to play football in the league for some time. I think they said 30 years or so, and they wanted to start that team, and that's how I got recruited to Sherman. But back in the early days when they had teams, they were rough, tough football players, and they used to beat USC and UCLA back in the day, you know. But when the school got involved in football, you know, that was a whole new dynamic for the school and got us into the gridiron and got me into being an all-star for Riverside County and played in the game of my life, which I was so proud to play in because I felt I was representing not only Sherman, but all Indians across the country in that game. And I played the game of my life. That was the last time. Yeah. Yeah, well, life's been good, life's been bad, you know, but you know, we got to make the best of it. Keep on going forward, you know. This, my friend who had that prophecy about doomsday of all the people being kids being shipped out this way, you know, she taught me one thing, and I said, no matter what goes on, Matt, you know, things will go good, things will go bad. You'll have good times, bad times. You know, you gotta learn to roll with the punches. You gotta learn to roll with the punches, you know. So that's what I've done all my life.
This is the energy. It's like that let's move forward energy that, you know, I mean, Kamala's sister was talking about, and her mother from India, and all these stories. It's like, let's move, let's do something, you know. And that was us. That wasn't the teachers and the
Yeah,
parents allowing us to do that, or saying, hey, you guys, why don't you just start a little revolution and be with your friends and you really, you know, start something new. But we did.
exactly.
Somehow it happened.
Exactly. And that's why I felt about the Salt Song Trail project, you know, just do it. Do it because, you know, it's been an intricate part of my life, you know, and to see it fading away the way it was, that was sad. But you know, another big sad thing about uh, going to ceremony and back in the earlier days was hearing the language.
When I was very young, I remember you what you mentioned about the soul songs, and I remember a story that someone had said that the soul songs are all the way up into Canada with the Cree and the Anishinaabe, and that always was in my mind about that. Remembering the songs, remembering the people speaking about that, and how they, with the trade route along from the all the way south to the north, not only came the foods and the goods and the baskets and the songs and the stories. So those are things that they took with them besides all the other goods. And so it was kind of inspiring to know that, you know, this feathers, the macaw feathers from our brothers and sisters down south made it all the way up to Canada, just like our songs.
Everybody may know
Mm.
a word or two and whatnot. That's good. But learning how to communicate a language is another thing, because in order to learn the songs, you have to know the language. You have to learn the language to determine where you are in a song and what you're singing about. Nook, new, I'm new. Nook, me ounce, nankakai. I like understand a little. Nook, me ounce, ampang. I speak a little. The real quick, however, Nook pututsuan. I know, because Nook nigan. I see, Nook nankakai, I hear. See? And I understand about the things that's going on in this world and what makes things work for the world and the creatures and the critters. And that's why I made that statement in that video that Sean made about the creator knows me about the work I'm doing. He blessed me to do these things. We communicate. He understands me of where I'm going and why I'm doing these things. This help Mother Earth and restore our land and get our people healthy again. But this is just one group of our people. There's all the general public out there too, and all the rest of our clans who need to be educated too.
The cultural preservation, changed. I mean, stayed the same, but the traditions of the songs, they are always changing. And so they adapted to the tribal people or the region because of the songs, how they, when they're found in Canada with the Anishinaabe and the Cree communities, they hold a deep cultural, spiritual significance and importance to them as well. And it's an expression of their region, of where they're from. So it did change as the songs moved along up north.
But the work that we're doing now is having far-reaching effects because they see our successes here in Chimoy Valley on our land restoration efforts on this reservation where there was nothing growing before. And now you can come up here and see a farm that's expanding and growing and doing some wonderful things to the ecosystem and the environment and wildlife, and critters are coming here and flocking to our reservation. And that's what's beautiful, is seeing the deer come back. Deer that have been absent for 60, 70 years, 80 years. But ever since Parker Dam, the deer left the area. And it's funny because I say deer, and my wife took me to Parker the other day to the hospital, to the clinic, and we saw a dead deer laying on the side of the road by Wydell Junction, going to Parker, and on the north side of the road. And 2 months ago, I went down to the hospital. We saw 2 dead deer in the same area, laying on the opposite side of the road. And I started, why are deer being killed right here? And the reason why the deer are being killed right there is because there's only a small gap open along the Metropolitan Water District line at Vidal Junction that the deer can cross without having to scale the canal, a concrete canal with chain link fence, but yet they can't jump that fence, they can't swim that canal. So there's only one outlet that they know where to go. And it's like a funnel, but yet they have no place to go. So they're trying to go through the small channel. And there you got Highway 62 running east to Parker, and you got Highway 95 running north to Needles. And the deer have to go through this pass that the Metropolitan Water District has cut off. Seeing this happening all up and down the river, that the migration routes have changed again, and the deer aren't able to migrate freely, just like they along the freeways. They can't do that anymore. So they're going along the road and they're getting hit and killed. But there's only one little outlet open available of the natural terrain where they can go to get to the next water hole.
Can you give us a description of the salt songs and the salt song trails and where Ash Meadows sits on the salt song trail?
Yeah, those songs up there around Ash Meadows are sung around the midnight time because after they leave the Mount Charleston area, the song meanders on down into the desert by the New York mountains, on down further towards 29 Palms area. But all that area up there, the song does a switchback in that area because there's a couple of different communities up there. And I mentioned that when the song comes down from St. George area into the desert near Moapa and Brannigan, and on its way down to Indian Peak and Pahrump, Mount Charleston, you know, those songs sing about the mountain, about Mount Charleston, and all the resources that are there for them. Like I said, that's the Chimway heaven. When our spirit passes, that's where it goes back to, is Mount Charleston. Yeah, the Salt Song Trail, they sing about all these different areas, and it's a different route. I mean, a route that comes down to these different areas, and we sing about the different communities that where the Newell resided, and where events took place, sacred places and things like this. And Mount Charleston is one, like I said. Pahrump, there's been another, Brannigan Valley and Moapa, and Indian Peak in Ash Meadows, because those are really prominent songs about midnight and around the midnight song. And it's really sad because we call it the parting of the ways after the midnight song, and where we take a long break at midnight, and the singers do. And we sing a song that's a cry song at midnight. And but we're singing about the different areas and things that took place around all that area. And like I say, Pahranaga was a place of abundance, of a lot of vegetation, a lot of food. So they went there to get resources and get water, and you go to the different springs, I mean, different mines to get different types of salt. Salt was used in prayer and medicine and healing. The medicine men would use different qualities of salt from different areas in their prayers and ward off bad spirits, such as the pine pitch. I could share that with you because it's pretty common, but pine pitch is pretty much serves the same purpose as copal that the indigenous people use in South America. It's a sap, and it's to ward off bad spirits. And when we have ceremony, they usually burn sanap like that, the sap, to ward off bad spirits who try to come in to a ceremony. Because when we start singing these songs in the evening time, um, the leaders would sing in a low tone in words to humble themselves and ask permission from Creator, and to ask permission from Creator to sing the song, but to invite spirits to come to join in the celebration of life of this individual. But when we invite spirits to come, bad spirits try to come in too. Bad spirits will try to come in to bring harm and havoc to anybody else around there. So we say, when we have ceremony, if you don't feel you should be there, don't go. If you're angry, upset, don't go, because you're taking medicine with you. You had bad thoughts and things like this, don't go. Just don't be around stuff like this. And especially with babies and children, they're prohibited from being around ceremony like this because they're susceptible to receiving anything. Their minds are open, and things can be received without even knowing it. And the same with people, if you're weak, sick, angry, vulnerable, these spirits will attach themselves to you, and they can do things to you. They could even kill you. It all depends how individuals are. But that's why we sing these songs. We We have to humble ourselves and get permission from the Creator to sing songs and invite these spirits and burn the sun up to ward off the bad ones who try to come in, bad spirits that try to come in, keep them away. And this will burn all night, and you have like smudge spots around the area emitting this aroma, such as you do if you go down to the Pusolo it's all you smell is copal around the whole area from all the different dancers burning copal, keeping the bad spirits away. And that's what it is. But, singing the songs, singing about the travels, and remembering the different sites, and especially the villages of our people. And that's why I mentioned, and this hat I'm wearing, the Huitzon National Monument hat. They're pursuing developing a national monument down there to protect their sacred lands from Yuma all the way to the Salton Sea and stopping all that gold mining and lithium mining activity. But they're doing their due diligence and trying to protect Mother Earth. But our salt song travels right through that very same area, and it doesn't go around the Salton Sea, but in the front of the Salton Sea and all the way to the Colorado River. And our salt song interconnects with the Huitzon Dream Trail, which is a trail that follows the entire Colorado River, and it runs right here, a mile from my house to the west, and we're protecting it here on our farm because there's a segment of the trail that runs through here, and my son Daniel is annexed that trail as it goes across our farmlands, and we're not going to develop around it. But that's our connection. And the one thing about the relationship between the Chumwaves and the Huitzons is the Huitzons have always had a deep respect for the Chumwaves, whereas they allowed the Chumwaves to reside in their territory. They allowed the Chumwaves to occupy um, 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 all the areas up to the Yuma Proving Grounds. That's all Huitzon territory to the Copa Mountains. The Chumwaves had free reign of that area with the blessings of the Huitzons. But Chumwaves also had villages all the way down to Yuma along the Colorado River. And we also had the name of all the different mountains from Yuma all the way up the Mojave Desert. So, we have a lot of respect for the Huitzons, and we support them in all their efforts to develop a national monument and help protect the sacred sites. But the Salt Song Trail covers all these areas, and we sing about these in all throughout the whole night from sundown to sunup. And during the night, we have specific times when we do the cry songs, where the men would actually stand up and sing, and women stand up, and the dancers stop and face the singers and accept the spirit and the power and energy that's in the sacred circle, which is between the men singers and the women singers, opposite from them. But that's the holy ground where there shouldn't be anything bad things, no shenanigans, no bad feelings or anything. You're there for a reason, and that is to cry. And the whole name of our ceremony is a cry in our language, a yagap. A yagap. So when they ask where you're going, I'm going over there to the cry, and that's what they go for. Men, women go there to the cry to show your respect, love, and appreciation for the individual, their family, but to emit those tears, let those tensions and anxiety go, let all of it go, because we as individuals, we have things to do too. The next day, we have families to take care of, we have work, we have our own obligations.
Stand up, stand in. We are Creative Frontline.
I'm Robert Lundahl. I stand up for human rights and the environment.
I am Tracker Gina Marie Rangel Quinones. Let us know whose voice you want to hear on the front line.
Where we connect all people where they stand on the front line.